BlokBoy Radio.
BlokBoy Radio.
BlokBoy Radio.
BlokBoy Radio.
BlokBoy Radio.
BlokBoy Radio.
BlokBoy Radio. BlokBoy Radio.
Hey, welcome back to BlokBoy Radio. Hey, this is our second episode with my boy Hector Loke and me, Dodger. You know what it's about. On this episode, we're gonna get into talking to Hector and his life and how we're here today now. Let's get into it.
Let's go.
So let's start off with the basic, right? Where were you born at?
I was born at General Hospital on the east side, Boyle Heights.
That's where I was born at too.
That's right.
That's crazy.
It's a place to be.
So did your family live in LA at the time?
Yeah, my mom lived in downtown LA, Pico Union area, Bonnie Bray.
All right. Yeah. And how old were you when your family moved to the Valley?
I was about like 2 or 3 months.
Oh, okay. A baby.
Baby.
All right. Where'd you guys move to?
My mom rented out a garage in Sylmar, and then she rented out a room in North Hills, and then she ended up renting a room in Panorama City. And then the main lady that was renting us the room at the time, she dipped and left the apartment with my mom, and I was basically there from months till 12 years of age, right there, 14720 Roscoe Boulevard, Panorama City.
You still remember the address?
All day. Yes, sir.
And so that means you went to elementary school in Panorama.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What elementary?
Noble Avenue Elementary.
And middle school in Panorama too?
Yep. Well, down the street, Van Nuys, it was Robert Fulton Middle School.
All right. And then at 12, where did your family move to?
At 12, my mom moved to Sun Valley, the Sunland Park Apartments.
All right. So you went to middle school out there too, or just that one?
I went to middle school and finished it off at Fulton, and then I went Poly, because it was Sun Valley was my home school, and then I went to Monroe, and then I graduated from somewhere.
All right. That means you got into a lot of trouble in high school. Three
was
different high schools.
Yeah, it was a little something. It was a little stuff going on, but it was nothing crazy, but
just a little bit of action here and
there.
Yeah,
a little action that I had to dip schools, and well, actually go to Monroe. Yeah, it was a little action going on at Poly, but I also wanted to be with all my homies, like my original homies from that I grew up with in the area.
Yeah.
But by the time I went there, they were fucking half of them had already checked out and gone to Kennedy. But I still was able to like link with some of my other homies, so it was dope.
All right, and then you went to Sylmar.
Yeah.
What was your GPA when you graduated?
It was like a 3.3.
Schoolboy.
Yes, sir.
Schoolboy with baggy jeans and a white tee, I bet.
All day. That's what it was right there in the
Bald
90s.
head too?
Yep, all that.
The 90s style.
Yes, sir.
All right. Was this when, in high school, was it when you started being called Hectic?
Yep. Actually, yeah. Ninth grade.
Ninth grade?
Yeah.
How'd you come up with Hectic?
Hectic, I was like, fools had named me other names when I was part of a party crew. They were like calling me like fucking noodles because I was thin. And I was like, nah, I'm not feeling that. And then in junior high, some other homies was calling me Aches. I was like, I'm not feeling that either. I was like, man, I give these fools too many chances. I just got to name myself. So I was like, man, like, I felt like Hectic just had a good ring to it, and it fit me perfect because, you know, growing up with a single mom in the hood, just my life was hectic ever since birth.
All right. I'm still trying to process Noodle Loke.
Right. It doesn't have a good ring to it. My first album would have been with a fucking Couple Noodles or Top Ramen.
Hey, that's a dope picture though. I could imagine that, like an album with that picture. Yeah. That would have been dope.
I would have had to jack my cousin's fucking Secret Santa gift. You know, someone gave him a blanket with a Top Ramen on it. So
right.
That would have been like the.
Why did you feel you need to have like a nickname?
Because at that time I was already like getting it. Had got into a party crew. Everybody was like had nicknames, and I was already starting to do graffiti, and I wasn't gonna be writing my like government name, you know.
Yeah, well, nobody does, right?
Right. So.
Damn.
Well, actually some people do. So.
Yeah, true, very few, but. Yeah. All right. So you'll say graffiti and the party crews started influencing you, being like hectic.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and all my homies had like their nicknames already, and you know I wanted to kind of fit in with the crew, you know, and I was rolling with the punches. So. Yeah.
All right. So how was that graffiti life in high school like?
It was fun. It was dope. It was fun, and then eventually after high school, it got a little crazy. So it got discouraging. But it was definitely fun to be able to jump in my compadre's mom's whip and go mobbing throughout the city at like 16, 17. It was dope. We would go to fucking all over the valley at night with our Krylons from Michaels and some softball tips, some German fat cats from Groove Riders on Ventura Boulevard for all the OG riders that know what's up. And yeah, it was fucking dope. It was fun.
Dope. Do you still remember the first time you tagged the wall?
Yep, it was right here down the block on Glen Oaks and like Arroyo. I was going to Jeopardy. It's like a youth program for youth that are on probation, and they sent me there. And on the way back, I had my backpack and I met up with one of my boys, and we just started mobbing and shit, like all down Glen Oaks, all the way down to my mom's pad.
Probation for what? You know how to
Probation
ask.
for graffiti, fighting. It was no, but it was for graffiti. We got caught mobbing on the bus.
Ah,
Yeah, me and two homies, we got caught by undercovers. Yeah, that was whack. That was the first time I went to juvenile hall for some stupid shit like that.
oh, right.
Yeah.
Man, I still remember the first time I saw. I never caught a bus, but I remember seeing a lot of people catching buses.
That shit
That
was fun.
Yeah. So, how was your parents' reaction when your mom got called up saying, "Hey, your son got caught graffiti and he's in juvenile"?
She was crying, disappointed, pissed,
She whoop-
everything.
Did she whoop your ass?
Nah, not at the time. It was, don't no. I was already like, that shit wasn't gonna happen. But it was whack, But my mom's always been like a paranoid person.
Yeah.
So she was like, oh my god, like it's the end of the world,
Yeah.
But
I mean, I don't blame him. Like if you get in trouble back in your country, it's like bad news, right?
that's
So,
true.
how did
You
you?
get chopped, you'll get your head chopped off over there, or your fucking hands or fingers.
Right.
Fuck.
You said you had like a 3.3 graduating high school, right? Did you go to college when you finished high school?
I did. I went to Valley College right away after, but I wasn't fully committed. So I was taking classes off and on, and then I was failing half of my classes, and yeah, I fucking was just off and on taking classes. But I was definitely like into like I eventually wanted to get my degrees.
When did I know you were on and off? When did you finally say, "Hey, I need to concentrate in school and let me take this to the next level. Let me get," because you got a BA and a master's. So tell me that trip, taking school serious, getting your BA, getting your master's, and what made you do all that?
So what motivated me to do that is in 2012 I got diagnosed with testicular cancer, and before I was gonna go in for surgery, I was actually writing some rhymes and fucking on my phone. I remember, and I was also reflecting on my life, and I was thinking to myself, even though I knew it was in like a life or death type of situation, because like the survival rate for testicular cancer was like 98% at the time, but it made me reflect and think back like, oh, if I could go back, what would I have done different to live a more meaningful life? And that's when I said, like, I need to go back and get my degrees to work with at-risk youth, like youth that went through shit that we've gone through, that could benefit from having like a mentor or someone positive in their life to kind of help them get their shit right. So yeah, in 2012, after the surgery, like the next semester in 2013. Well, actually in 2012. No, I'm lying. In 2012, right after the surgery, the next semester, the fall semester at Valley College, I went in and fucking knocked out the classes that I had to do, and then I went to CISA in 2013.
And you went straight into your master's program after your BA?
Yep. Got my bachelor's in 2015. Then I got then I went right into the master's program at 2007. In 2015, 2015 I graduate with my bachelor's, and then 2017 I graduate with my master's.
Nice.
CSUN.
Nice. You said you had cancer.
Yeah.
How'd you find out you had cancer?
So I eventually started seeing I was noticing that one of my nuts was getting bigger than the other, right? And I was like, fuck, what's going on? So I talked to one of the homies about it.
You're questioning it?
I was
Because,
like,
when you have big nuts, people are like, oh.
right? It's a good thing. But I was like, nah, one of the nuts was just a little too big. And I was like, bigger than the other one. I was like, what the fuck's going on? So my homie was like, I don't trip. That's fucking hernia, bro. I had the same shit. And I was like, really? And I was like, okay. But my wife, when I talked to her about it, she was like, yeah, she's always been like very like paranoid when it comes to medical stuff like that. She'll be like, oh, you should go get checked out. And I was like, okay. And she talked to her mom about it, and the mom pressed the issue and told her like, no, you need to get him checked out because it could be cancer. And if he don't get that shit taken care of, that shit's going to spread and it's going to be all bad. And then my girl had open enrollment on her job for medical insurance because I didn't have medical insurance at the time. and she enrolled me in her medical insurance, and I went like literally like the next right when I got approved, I went to Kaiser and they checked me out. They called me 3 weeks later, and they were, I mean, 3 days later, and they were like, "Yeah, you need to come in." I went in, and they told me I had cancer, and I was like, "Oh shit."
Shit. What was your reaction when you first heard it? Like,
I was just like tripping out, like, what the fuck? I got cancer, like I was just couldn't believe it, but I knew I was never scared though, like,
yeah,
cause I'm just when it comes to shit like that, I just feel like it is what it is, but also I knew because it's like I mentioned, the survival rate is just so high. I was just like, it's gonna be all good, you know. But it was still a learning experience because I still had cancer. I still had to undergo surgery.
yeah,
So it's still, you know, it was still a process that hopefully makes people think, you know, and
yeah.
try to improve themselves.
Do you still get checked now because you had it before?
I do. I get checked out. I believe once every 6 months. I gotta go check every 6 months. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow, like blood work or
Yeah.
just
Blood work. They'll do a CAT scan, and that's pretty much it. Yeah. Because of blood work, they
like
look
for the rest of your life?
Yeah, I think it may be for the rest of my life, but I know because it's already been over 5 years. Because at first you got to do it like every 2 months to 3 months, but once you hit the 5 year mark of being cancer free, then they do it like once every 6 months, and I think after the 10 year mark, it might be once a year.
Um, that's a trip.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what caused it, or they never just it just happened?
They don't know. They're like, oh, it could be a lot of things, but I think it was either two things. One is when I would be selling CDs on the block, I would have I would always have like a gallon of water, right? And that gallon of water, sometimes in the summertime when I would be out on the block selling records, it would get super fucking hot. And I would still drink out of it like it was all good. But you got to be careful because when plastic is out in the sun, it begins to like release chemicals
Yeah,
into your water. And you could even feel it. It gets like, it loses like structure.
yeah.
It gets like weak, and I would just chug water like that. That's one of my theories. The other one is that I've always been a sucker for fucking the fatty part on the meat.
Mm.
So when it comes to like carne asada, fucking caldo de res, there's like fucking fatty parts on the caldo de res that people don't fuck with. I fuck with it. A lot of people fuck with it, and I'm that person that'll get the fatty part on the caldo de res, slap it on the tortilla, sprinkle some salsa on it with some cilantro, some cebolla, and it's the best part.
It's because it's tasty, juicy.
Super bomb, but
Yeah.
a lot of people don't fuck with it. I think it's either those because I really like. Also, when it would come like to carne asada and it comes with like a fatty part,
Yeah,
I was that fool that I would cook it a little bit, but I would fuck with it, and
Yeah.
other people would like chuck it. They'd be like, "That's disgusting,"
yeah.
but I love that shit.
All right.
Yeah, but that's
so
what I
eating
think.
habits or chemical?
Yeah, eating habits, yeah, for sure, and drinking that water that
Yeah.
was.
Hey, so you said that you sold records off the trunk.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you get into music?
So I got into music because I've always, well, not always, but like when I was like 14, I've always liked rap music, like ever since like 11, 12 years of age. My first fucking CD that I bought, well, my first tapes that I bought were like a Tribe Called Quest and fucking, I forgot the other tape that I had purchased, but so maybe I was like 9, 10. Oh, actually, Vanilla Ice, Ice Ice Baby. That was actually my first fucking tape that I
Don't tell
bought.
me you were dancing to it.
All that shit. I was living on Roscoe Boulevard, and I went to the Montgomery Ward across the street with my mom, and I specifically told the lady I want this haircut, and I took the motherfucking tape deck, the tape of fucking Vanilla Ice, and I told her I want my hair like this. She looked at, it was like some lady, she looked at me like, boy, you know you're Latino, you don't have like fucking, I'm not gonna dye your hair like that, but I wanted that haircut. And
Did you get it?
They were like, yeah, we got you, but it didn't come out nothing like that. They just, my mom was like Loke, like, yeah, give him the regular cut, you know. And that shit was, yeah, Vanilla Ice,
I could imagine the name Noodle Ice.
right? Noodle Ice, baby. Like, damn, what's up? Selling paleta in the fucking block.
Oh man, that's
Sheesh.
funny. So you started liking music then, and then you
Yeah.
got into like freestyling.
Yeah, freestyling with the homies, like at flyer parties or at kickbacks. Yeah, we were doing freestyling for sure. And then like I was freestyling like from 15 to like 20. Yeah, 20. And then at 21 is when I got into the studio and actually started writing my rhymes. Yeah. And
How'd
that's
you-
because the homie Rusty and two other homies, Sikkim and my boy Breezy, they went to my son's baby shower and they were talking about like, yeah, Rusty's cousin just got a studio right here in Pacoima. and we're gonna fucking pull up, and you should pull up. And eventually they ended up hitting me up and pull up, and I pulled up, and we just started fucking rocking the mic, having a good time right there.
How was that like?
It was dope. It was all fun because at that time it was good because I was transitioning. I was having a kid, right? And
Yeah.
I was already like thinking about like transitioning from doing graph and getting into trouble and seeing my homies catch fucking cases because people were like taking the stand. I was just like, man, I don't want to. I don't. This shit ain't fun no more. Like it ain't fun. And then two of my homies, like passing away. Well, one passing away, the homie rest in peace, Magic, passing away because of his beef with of his crew and some other crews. It was just like, damn, like motherfuckers could really die from this shit. And I was like, I'm cool. You would hear about it, but when it like struck so close to home, it's like, nah, that's just not worth it to me, And eventually, I started fading into the music. I'm focusing on music, so that was dope. That helped me. That helped me from the graph, like transitioning from the graph to doing music because I was doing something illegal to something positive, for myself at least, and I
Yeah.
wasn't getting caught up.
Do you still remember your first song?
The first song that we did, it was just like it wasn't even like a titled song. It was just like a freestyle. Like a freestyle, I mean, like it wasn't really structured, like a
Yeah.
title, a hook, nothing. We were just all like spitting. But I remember having some corny ass fucking rhymes to it for sure.
Yeah.
I was just like talking about being Montezuma the Great, the Aztec, this and that. I was just on some other shit. Like I thought I was like a Mexican Wu Tang and shit at the time, and it wasn't happening until eventually you find your rhythm,
Identity.
your stilo,
Yeah.
that you really But you gotta fuck around sometimes and be like, oh, okay, this ain't it, this ain't it. Oh, there it is.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Can we find it anywhere?
That I doubt it. That shit fucking none of us fucking that I know, me or none of the homies like took care of it the way we should have because we never knew it would be like something that people would wanna go back on.
Yeah.
But I don't think you could find it. That shit's old.
What will be your first rap that we could find on the internet? The earliest.
The earliest is probably straight West Coastin' video that I did with me and the homies from Valley Concept. We were from Valley Concept Click at the time, and we did that song with Rickard, and that's gonna be that you might be able to stumble over that on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
We'll have to look that up.
Oh,
Put
yeah.
the link.
Yes, sir.
We'll put it the link.
Mm-hmm.
Make fun of them. You probably balled back then too, right?
Yes, sir. All of us were.
Oh, for
I
sure.
was
We
get
got.
down with the fucking Lokes,
I'm gonna look for it and put it in the link
Put
for
it in.
sure.
Put it in.
We have to.
That's the retro hectic Loke.
How's that? So doing music, how's that lifestyle like? How was it like? Was it cool? Was it weird? Was it crazy?
The doing music was to me it was fun. It was dope because I never did it for the fame, and it was just for me it was good for my mental health. It gave me purpose. It gave me something to look forward to. It was just an outlet for me to be creative, and that's just something that I'm always advocating for people to do. Like do something that you do for yourself, And I was doing it for myself. I loved it, and I was just fortunate enough to be able to create a street team with my boy Raider, my boy Rusty, a gang of homies, Droopy, that helped me sell CDs out the trunk. We sold 135,000 records out the trunk all over LA County, San Diego. We even went to Arizona, Texas, different like out of state, different places. But it was fun. It was so dope. We did a lot of shows. We made some good money from it, and it was dope learning experience to help us develop into the people that we are today.
Nice. How was the selling records off the streets? Was like did people support you? They didn't like it. They beefed it. I mean, how was it like? Did you get a lot of support?
We got a lot of support. We were getting a lot of support from like a lot of the raza, like the Paisa mom and dads, like all like people like your mom, my mom, and they would be out there at the grocery stores or the fucking food for less, wherever we'd be posted up, and we'd go up to them with like our lines, and they'd be like, hell yeah, I'm a support for my son, for my cousin, and they always respected it because we were out there doing something positive, and we were pushing out an official CD that was like wrapped up, pressed up. It wasn't like in a sleeve and like fucking burnt. It was an official pressed up CD that was retail ready, and it was professionally mixed and mastered, and you can't go wrong for $5.
Yeah.
You just can't go wrong.
You can't even get a Big Mac meal no more for $5.
Hell no,
Yeah.
none of that.
How was doing music and going to school like?
It was dope. It just like it was cool, but I had to balance my time out obviously because I have the family, I had school and the music. So once I started going to school full throttle, that's when I started fading away, like not spending a lot of time on music. I was like just going to the studio once in a while.
All
And
right.
shouts out to my boy Tommy Tomato because he had the studio at the time right there in at Sound City Studios in Van Nuys, Panorama City. I would go there like maybe once a week just to fuck around. We did a lot of music there, but a lot of it never got released. But it was good times.
All right. And then you obviously I know you took a break from music. Um, why?
I took a break in 2015 because my wife got pregnant, so I wanted to focus on my son, and also because I was focusing a lot on school. And then right when I got out of and then so I put music to the side, and obviously I wasn't selling CDs out the trunk anymore. I was like I had already done maybe like full throttle setting CDs out the trunk from like 2007 to like 2012. So I had already dedicated to the music and the street hustle like 5 years plus, and I had already started working like a 9 to 5. I was working at Kaiser doing security, and that I had because I wanted to work my social. I wanted to kind of have like start building my resume, as opposed to having
What?
a resume with just nothing but like what you do for the last 7 years. I was working at studios, selling music.
So coming out of high school until that time, you never worked a 9 to 5?
No, I did. I worked the 9 to 5 from right out of high school. I worked 9 to 5 all the way to 2007. In 2007, I got laid off when I was working at Washington Mutual at the back offices in Northridge. I got laid off because they
The recession, right? I mean recession.
they actually they relocated to Houston, Texas,
Oh,
and they changed the name from WAMU Washington Mutual to Chase, and basically they were like they wanted us to go over there. I was like, I'm not gonna go over there for fucking. It wasn't gonna happen. So
you didn't want to go to
yeah,
Texas?
so I got a severance package. Hell no, I got a severance package. I was already doing music. I was already selling CDs out the trunk with my homie Rusty and my homie Jader. But I was like, man, I'm going to go full throttle because I already saw the money that we were generating.
Yeah.
Like, just on the weekends, hitting the San Fernando swap meet or the downtown LA alleys, we would hit the block for maybe like 3 4 hours, and we would generate like $300 to $600, $300 to $500, depending on how many people were out there. Like with me, like if it was me and Rusty, we'll make at least $300, at least. Like in total,
Yeah,
300
yeah.
bucks. But that's dope. Just selling CDs for 3 hours.
Yeah, 3 hours on a weekend, and
It was fun.
back then that money went far.
Yeah, and we for us the high was just putting out the music that we were actually recording, like putting it out for people to enjoy. Even though it was for us, but we wanted to put it out there to get money and be able to reinvest that money into more music and more production.
Yeah. Obviously, it took a lot of time, so that's why you probably stopped doing music for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean when I started going to school and having kids again, I couldn't focus like I couldn't do the selling CDs out the trunk that much. And plus I wanted to already like transition into the regular working force so I could like, start getting a 401k,
Yeah.
medical insurance, retirement, all these things that you got to think about.
Something you don't think about when you're in your 20s.
Yeah.
So you start thinking about the future and other things.
Yeah.
Not bad. What made you get back into music again?
I love it too much to let it go forever. So I knew I was gonna come back to it. So I took a 5 year break. 2015, I dropped my last solo album, Sign of the Streets, and then I took a break. I got my bachelor's, my master's, had 2 kids back to back, and then in 2020, like a few months after the pandemic began, I got back in the lab and started recording, and I dropped this track called El Corrido del Hex. I dropped that in like on October, I think, of 2020, and since then I've been fucking just having fun with music again. It's good for my mental health, keeps me motivated.
Your hobby?
And it gives me like a personal satisfaction. So I love it.
That's not bad. I like that. I mean, when I met you back in, what would I say, 2001, something like that. I know that we were in the streets. We were doing a lot of stuff back then.
Yeah.
And think about how it was back then to where you're at now. I mean, like, you even got your own place that you own. You got a master's. Not a lot of people could say that. So if you look back and reflect, how what would you say you're at? Let me rephrase that. When you reflect, what do you think about?
I think it's dope, and sometimes I'd be like, "Fuck, how the fuck did I get here?" I'd be like, damn it, like I was dodging cases at 18, 19 years of age, seeing homies catch cases and homies passing away and just doing the gang of desmadre at the time and then having the kids and then just like little by little it's just like how they say trust the process is good. Trust the process, but you also gotta put action into it. So I've always like set goals for myself and try to accomplish them and stay focused. But like positive goals, not like
Yeah.
stupid shit. Like, oh, I'm gonna be fucking doing these type of things that are gonna bring like negativity to myself and my family and my homies, but like positive shit. So yeah, staying grounded.
What do you think helped you stay grounded though? Because I
My
mean,
kids, my kids,
so your kids is what changed you.
my kids, my wife, my mom. Like it's just like my mom, like she came over here, she migrated from Mexico for me to have a better life, and it'd just be fucking a shame for me to fucking fuck it all up and go to fucking jail or fucking end up dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like making her proud and making myself proud, and making my son and my wife proud, and my homies proud, being able to just break the cycle, break the cycle of like growing up without a dad to be able to have a dad, growing up without my mom not having any degrees, working as a waitress, to me being able to get degrees and work a different type of job. And there's nothing wrong with being a waitress and none bad. It's just progress, and that's
Yeah.
what I'm a big advocate about, and I'm happy to see the progress. I think like our generation should always strive for better.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't get into a lot of things too detailed about certain things, but I know that knowing you, going from tagging, fights, um, being shot that we didn't talk about.
Yeah,
Um,
shot twice,
yeah.
different occasions.
Yeah.
Vámonos.
I don't know about talking about all that just because there's more to it.
Yeah.
Having cancer, like I said, to flipping it and going to school, buying your own place, like I mean, I witnessed you do those things little by little and transitioning, and look at us now trying to motivate other people too.
Yeah, yeah, and we are motivating other people. Shit.
Yeah. Um, I mean, I'm proud of you, and I'm.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate that.
And I, fuck, I want people to look up to you because you're an example of someone coming out, like you said. Hey, Sun Valley, right? Roscoe, Section 8, right?
Yeah.
Too.
Section 8 apartment, Sunland Park.
Yeah.
Vámonos.
And to being who you are now, when did you buy your first property?
I bought my first property that I'm still in 2006. I was like 23 at the time, so I bought it at 23. Yeah, so that was dope too.
Yeah,
Being
I
young
mean,
as fuck.
23, buying a home back then in 2006.
Yeah, I think. It was
You didn't really hear much about it. Like now, a little bit more, which I'm happy. There's a lot of good mentors out there for our people. But you're building this empire, I would say, for your family, and a good example for your kid. I mean, you got a kid now in college too, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's super dope too. Yeah, like
So
just to see our kids
second
go to see
generation,
sun, yeah.
second generation. You're the first generation in college.
Yeah.
Now your son. We're taking that American dream,
Yeah.
and pushing forward and changing life, right? A different prospect. So I appreciate you sharing with us
Hell
and
yeah.
letting us know a little bit about who you are,
Yeah, man,
and bring it out to other people that you could do something with life. You heard him talking about tagging, doing music, and still doing music. I'm gonna put a link in the bio too where they could find you at. I've been digging the last few tracks too.
Thank you,
They go
brother.
deep, really deep. But we'll put that link in there, and really appreciate you telling
Yeah.
us about you.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for the platform. I mean, it's exciting just to have this platform with you. I know you're gonna be hosting it and doing a hell of a job, like sharing these stories.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be being here on the sideline supporting you. So we could get our people to share and
Yeah.
to inspire other people and tap in.
Quick question: what made you say "fuck it"? Let me do this shit too, like this podcast stuff.
You were like, let's do this, and I was like, okay, like I'll try. And you're like, fuck it, whenever you can. I was like, let's go then, let's
Yeah.
do it. So it was,
Yeah, we're here now though.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
BlokBoy Radio.
BlokBoy.
Vámonos.
You know,
Tap in.
yeah. So hey, thanks for listening. The next podcast will come soon.
BlokBoy Radio.
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 BlokBoy Radio.